Dating a female empath is like holding a mirror to your soul. It is a beautiful, transformative experience, but it is rarely an easy one. Most men go through life claiming they want a partner who is genuinely kind, deeply compassionate, and emotionally present. They think they want someone who gets them on a deeper level. However, the reality of being with a woman who feels everything is a massive shock to the system. When a man finally encounters this level of emotional depth, his first instinct is often to pull away. It is a strange and painful irony. The very traits that make these women the most incredible, loyal partners on the planet are the exact same qualities that leave most men feeling completely overwhelmed, exposed, and unprepared for the journey. The struggle usually starts because a female empath operates on a totally different frequency than the average person. She doesn't just see you, she feels your energy, your moods, and your unspoken thoughts. For a man who is used to keeping things surface level or hiding behind a tough exterior, this can feel like he's being stripped bare. He realizes very quickly that he can't hide his insecurities or his bad days from her, and that level of exposure is terrifying. Instead of leaning into the connection, many men retreat because they haven't done the internal work required to handle a partner who is so intensely tuned in to the truth of who they are. 1. Unfiltered honesty. A female empath simply does not have the capacity for small talk or polite white lies. She is hardwired for the truth at a cellular level, and she expects that same transparency in return. In a world where most people sugarcoat their feelings to avoid conflict, she is a breath of fresh air, but that air can feel very cold to a man who isn't ready for it. If there is even the slightest rift in the relationship, or if she senses a shift in his energy, she will address it immediately. She doesn't believe in letting things fester or playing mind games. To her, addressing an issue isn't about starting a fight. It's a necessary act of love designed to clear the air and build an even stronger, more authentic bond. However, this directness is where the friction begins. Because she speaks the truth so plainly, many men perceive her honesty as a direct attack on their ego. They aren't used to a woman who can see through their excuses or call them out on their inconsistencies with such precision. Instead of seeing her as a teammate who wants to fix a problem, they view her as being self-righteous, critical, or too much to handle. They mistake her desire for a genuine, deep connection for a desire to control or judge them. What they fail to realize is that she isn't trying to hurt their pride. She is trying to save the relationship from the shadows of dishonesty. For the female empath, a relationship without total transparency is just a hollow shell, and she would rather be alone than live a lie. 2. Radical intensity. When a female empath decides to love you, she doesn't just dip her toes in the water, she dives into the deepest part of the ocean. She literally does not have a halfway button. For her, love is an all-consuming, high-definition experience that involves her entire being. She will shower her partner with a level of affection that is almost unheard of in modern dating. We're talking about constant, unwavering support, thoughtful surprises that show she's been paying attention to your smallest needs, and a loyalty that is rock solid. To her, this is just how love is supposed to look. It's generous, it's vibrant, and it's total. She gives her heart completely because she believes that if a connection is worth having, it's worth giving everything to. However, this radical intensity often creates a massive culture shock for the average man. Most men are conditioned by modern dating to be guarded, distant, and to keep their feelings tucked away to avoid looking weak. When they encounter a woman who is this emotionally expressive and devoted, they don't always see it as a gift, they often see it as a threat. That deep level of devotion can start to feel choking or even obsessive to someone who isn't used to being truly seen and prioritized. He might mistake her emotional depth for desperation or overzealousness. Because he doesn't have the internal tools or the emotional capacity to match her high frequency, he starts to panic. He begins to crave breathing room and pulls away, not realizing that he is running away from the most authentic love he will likely ever encounter. He views her intensity as a burden, when in reality it is simply the byproduct of a heart that refuses to love in small, safe portions. 3. The need to know. The female empath possesses a unique, highly tuned intuition that acts like a second set of eyes. She doesn't just hear the words coming out of your mouth. She reads the vibration of your energy and the subtle shifts in your body language. She can tell when your "I'm fine" actually means you're hurting, and she can sense a lie before you've even finished telling it. Because she is so perceptive, she naturally has a lot of questions. She isn't satisfied with surface-level answers or vague explanations. She wants to understand the why and the how behind every situation. She wants to know the history of your thoughts and the reasons for your actions because to her, every detail is a piece of the puzzle that helps her understand who you truly are. To a man who prefers to keep things chill or strictly surface level, this constant curiosity feels like a direct interrogation. He might feel like he's constantly being put under a microscope, or that he can't have a simple conversation without it turning into a deep dive session. He gets frustrated and bored with the excessive questions, wanting to just get straight to the point and move on. What he fails to grasp is that her questioning isn't a tactic to annoy him or control him, it's a search for safety. Because she gives her trust so fully, she needs to be absolutely sure that the ground she is standing on is firm. She asks questions to build a foundation of security. She is trying to find a safe, transparent place to put her heart. And she can't do that if there are shadows or unanswered questions looming in the background. For her, understanding you isn't a chore. It's the only way she knows how to truly connect. 4. Zero tolerance for games. For a female empath, commitment is never a casual maybe or a "let's see where this goes" experiment. The moment she decides to choose you, she is all in, and she expects that same level of intentionality in return. She doesn't have the time or the interest to play the exhausting games of modern dating, like waiting 3 days to text back or acting indifferent to keep someone interested. To her, love is sacred, and once she has committed her heart to you, she is naturally exclusive and already looking toward a future together. She begins to weave you into her life goals, her plans, and her vision for